Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, the 3rd of January 2021, and I'm back with a WIP Parade. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to do one, but I've been watching so many of them recently, so I thought, why not join in? It's mostly full coverage pieces. I think I've got 2 non-full coverage on the go at the moment. Apart from the sampler that I've just started this year, so I'm not going to include that because that's this year's start. So it is quite a short WIP Parade, but it's full of full coverage. So I've also got everything's kind of precariously balanced between my Kallax and it's all my sewing storage in my craft room. So. Sorry about this, dodgy camera work. Anyway, so you will have seen all these throughout the year if you watch my Flosstube channel, but obviously because WIP Parades, people kind of dip in and watch things that they wouldn't normally watch, which is how I found a few Flosstubers over the year that I follow regularly. So welcome if you're new. I hope you enjoy seeing the progress that I've made on my pieces. I'm not going to be doing before and after because I don't think I have any before pictures as such. I'm just not very good at keeping those organised in one place. You might hear my cat running around. He's actually downstairs playing and he's having a whirl of a time with some of his toys. So he's 18. He loves running around like a kitten. So, talking of cats, here we are. This is Just Be. The artwork is by Jeff Haney, and the chart is designed by Heaven and Earth Designs. So, this one I put first in the WIP Parade. I've actually been working on him this year. I've already spent a couple of days on him. So I've nearly at another page finished, nearly page 16. As you can see, I'm quite near the bottom. I'm also very close to a finish. So he will be finished this year. He is my 21 in 21 piece for full coverage fanatics. And he's also the piece I've chosen for the FC Finishes Challenge 2021. With Rocking Stitcher and several others that are joining, hoping to get their full coverage pieces finished this year. So in 2021 I finished Eternal Promise, and that one I've been working on for 2 weeks every month for quite a while. So I like having a big block of time to focus on one piece during a month. So I adjusted the rotation slightly so that I have 2 pieces that get in 2 weeks and they alternate every other month. So every other month, Just Be starts with 2 weeks, starts the month for 2 weeks. So I did get some stats for last year. I worked on it 25 times. Now I'd say 25 days stitching, but a day means different things from one day to the next. Like at the weekend I get several hours good stitching time in if I've got nothing else to do. And with lockdown last year there wasn't many places to go, so I have had a bumpy year. So I worked on it 25 times and I did 23,332 stitches. And I think I've got just a little bit more than that left to do on him. So the pages on this one are the large format ones. So it means there's slightly fewer stitches on each page than the regular one. But there's just the page that I'm working on that I'm nearly finished. You can kind of see where his fur needs to come down here. And then the page next to it, the last full page on this entire piece. Everything's partials after that. So he's going to get done this year, and I can't wait to get him framed and up on the wall because I love him. He is so gorgeous. I will be sad to finish stitching on him. He's one of these I'm going to miss. I do miss some sometimes. So that is just B. And the other piece that is also on the 2 weeks every other month is Trick or Treat. And as you can see, this one's got a lot more to go. This piece is regular size, standard size pages. It's also the standard size version of Trick or Treat. And I really adore this piece. I really want to work on it a lot. And it's 90 pages long. Well, 90 pages long. It's 90 pages in total. So it's going to take me a long time. And I wanted to focus on it, but I also knew that I wanted to get some stuff finished. I want to get the number of WIPs I have down in size. I don't have many at all compared to a lot of people, but I do want to have fewer WIPs on my rotation because I want to get some more started at some point, and I just don't want it to keep growing and growing and growing. But as I said, I did want to work on this one more often, but I just couldn't devote the time to it every single month, 2 weeks, because it's just going to take years to finish it anyway. But then I didn't want to only give it 1 week every 3 months, which I think is the other rotation slot I've got, because then it would just crawl along at a snail's pace. So having the two projects that I switched, the thinking that for that was, if I have one that's closer to a finish, then the focus means that I'll get it done quicker. And then if I use this one, it's going to take me years to finish, and I give it 2 weeks every other month, then I'll see some good progress on it in the year. And then, eventually it'll get to the halfway point, get to the quarter point, halfway point, 3/4, and at some point it will become the focus piece that is closest to a finish. Now that's a long, long time away, but at the start of the year, I had about 4 pages completed, 3 or 4. I'm not sure if I'd actually done the spire on that. Let's see if I can zoom in a little. There we go. I'm not sure if I even had the spire done on that turret. I think I did that this year. I seem to remember doing that this year. So I'd done this. I had got across the whole piece as well. That was before Pattern Keeper, and that was difficult. Then I got Pattern Keeper, and I started working across the whole thing again. But I do like to count page finishes. As you can see, that pre-Pattern Keeper, straight lines. I've actually started that page, but straight lines. And then once I got Pattern Keeper, no more straight lines. All along the edges. But I did start trying to work across the whole thing, and I did get across the whole piece. But I decided that I wanted to carry on with pages. So even though I don't finish off the straight edge page, I get down to past the point of the page. It just ripples in to the next page, just finishing up the thread. That's all I do. And what I do, the way I track my stitching, is that for every page I complete, I put £1 in a piggy bank. And then at the end of the year, I have a nice number of pound coins. And then the following year, the aim is to go to a craft show and spend those pound coins. or you can save it for framing, but I like to go to the craft show and spend pound coins and buy new stash. So it kind of it's a savings plan throughout the year, and then next year I can have something nice with it. This year I couldn't go to any craft shows, so I have a good year this year if I can go. Right, so where were we? Anyway, waffling on about other things. So this is Trick or Treat. The artwork is by Randall Spangler. He is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I love stitching Randall Spangler pieces. Most of my finishes are Randall Spanglers. I have a wall of them in the front room. I don't have a huge amount of finishes, but they're nice clustered together. This one won't be able to fit on that wall, but I have a spot earmarked for it. It's a Halloween piece, but it will stay out all year. It's nice, at least until I get some other houses done. This is going to take me years, but I'm still planning on how I'm going to display them all and the other houses that I want to do. I really want to do Home is Where the Magic Is. The snowy one. I really love that piece. So we'll do that at some point. And I've seen a few stitches doing the Autumn Splendour. I just love autumnal colours, so that one's really pretty as well. Spring and summer ones I haven't seen so much. I'm not sure if there's so much in my colour palette, but who knows. If I ever get, inordinate amounts of time to stitch and get through these, I might do. The other pieces are smaller than this one. This one's huge. I love it though. So, this one, where were we? I worked on this one 36 days this year, and I got 28,385 stitches done. So I worked on it a little bit more than just B and got more stitches done on it. Also got a note here that I completed 5 pages. Just B I also completed 5 pages last year. Also Just B I started in 2017. And this one, I've got my notes here somewhere. I also started in 2017, but it was after Just B. This was started on Christmas Day 2017. So it's taken me that long to get along across the first row of pages. But I'm going to stitch more on it from now on. So this year I'll get a little bit more pages, more time than last year, yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So, there we are with that one. I've got 492,905 stitches to do. So there you go. That is going to take forever. But I love working on it, so I don't care. And another one you'll see regularly if you watch my channel is Stitch in Time. Artwork is by Amy Stewart, and again it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And they're not all Heaven and Earth Designs, just mostly. That's what I had started. So, this one, where were we? I started this one in 2016. February 2016. I found all my notes and kind of collated them all together into a nice little journal style thing. It means the notes out of sync. There we go. So, when I started this one, I decided to start with that hoop in the middle. And I worked the pages around the hoop. And then I got bored of that fabric. Stitching that fabric was so boring. So I kind of got down to here and I was going to go across and stitch up. That was the plan. Instead, I put it away. And I put it away for quite a while. This was don't want to work on this anymore. Don't like it. Not enjoying it. And it was a break for me to start in the middle. I don't often start in the middle anymore on full coverage pieces. I'll start in the middle regularly on non-full coverage pieces. It's how I've always started things, start in the middle. But I think with full coverage, my preference is to start at page 1 and then work through in order. But that wasn't how I was working this one. And I put it away. I think I totally unkitted it. It went fully away. But I don't throw things away. So it was sitting in the box. And it just kept, after a while, it just kept niggling at me. I just wanted to stitch it. So it came out again in 2019. Let's see, I was probably on this page. And I think I had been doing colour by colour, working page colour by colour, and it's on 28 count Monaco. The Trick or Treat, I always forget to say what things are on. Trick or Treat was on 28 count easy count, and although they're 28 count, they're very different fabrics. Monaco is much denser and much firmer fabric, and the holes are smaller, so the hole that you see to put your needle through is smaller. 28 count easy count is quite bouncy, stretchy. I think it's a Brittany based fabric which is stretchier than Monaco's got. It's a blend rather than Monaco is 100% cotton. The easy count 28 count is a blend, and it's bouncy and stretchy, and the holes are bigger so you can see where you're putting your needle. So if you want to try 28 count and you feel that you're going to struggle to see the holes, then it would be worth trying different 28 count fabrics. The 28 count easy count, I would say, is much easier to see where you're putting your needle, and therefore it's a little easier to see where the gaps are. This stuff was really difficult to see where the holes were, and I think that was part of the reason why I gave up on it. I just didn't have the time to sit there to try and work out where I was. At that time I was gridding myself. I was using the Sulky Sliver thread. I've used that before. I only ever grid the page that I'm working on. I'm too lazy to do the whole thing. Really, there's not enough time. I want to be stitching, so if I'm going to grid, I will do it with Sulky Sliver. But I did come back, I did finish that page, and then I decided to continue working downwards, and I got onto the winter section, which, blues, I love stitching blues, my favourite. So I got through that one. I think I got through that in 2019. So 2020, this piece has been out every month. I've stitched on it every month, I believe. I stitch on it for the last week of the month. Now I had been using that for Mirabilias and Fancy Ladies, non-full coverage pieces. I'd been using a whole week each month to stitch on it, and for some reason I decided I'll put this bit in there, this project. I don't think I could ever stitch a straight 2 weeks on this project. Let's zoom out a bit while I'm talking. There's just so much confetti and colour changes, and some days you work on it and you don't think you've got anywhere. I can put 500 stitches in on this and not be able to tell you where they were. It just soaks up stitching time. So I don't think I could work on it for 2 weeks. I think that would I would make progress, because there's no way that you can't work on something that long and not make progress. But it's just the feeling of progress. And if I'm not feeling the progress, I get a bit fed up with them. I like the act of stitching, but the act of stitching needs to finishing, and I do love finishing. these projects are so gorgeous to just be stuck with what I sometimes do, which is to stitch the first page. And they're too beautiful to not have more pages put in on them. So that's why I see this thing about whether someone's a progress stitcher or someone's a process stitcher, but the process should lead to progress. You can't have one without the other. You can't make progress without doing the process. And really, if you don't enjoy the process of stitching, why are you spending your time doing it? And there must be another hobby that you would enjoy more, where you would enjoy the process of doing that hobby more. So I'm both. I have a variety of projects to change up the colour palette in front of me. This one is one of those where you have loads of colours thrown at the page. At the moment I'm getting sick of pink. Who wouldn't? There's pages of it. Those pink flowers are hell. But if I'm stuck on the same colour, blocks of colours just don't do it for me. I don't enjoy stitching them as much. The progress is great. You get fantastic progress when you've got blocks of colour, but part of the enjoyment for me is changing colours and seeing all the small details come to life. I think that's why I enjoy the Randall Spangler one so much. Again, he crams so many colours in, and it just makes them so enjoyable. I will say he crams so many colours in, but it doesn't feel like half as much confetti as in this piece. So, where were we on this piece? Every month, I believe I've worked on it every month in 2020. I say a week. I don't do a week because I'll have a day or two where I want to stitch on something else. But for that week, I generally stitch on that project. Most of the times it will be 6 times during that week. Fridays, I'll generally stitch on something else, sitting on the sofa, watching telly. Don't get a lot of progress done. But it's just something to do with my hands while I'm watching telly. So yeah, I worked on it 70 days in 2020. So yeah, I must have got it out every month. And for those 70 days, I stitched 35,733 stitches. So it's had a lot of stitches put in on it. But I've only finished 4 pages. I think I've actually finished 4.5. So I can't remember where I was right at the beginning of the year. It must have been on this page here. I can't see the page underneath it isn't completed. But I have gone down into it. That's just a partial at the bottom of the page. So I stitched most of this page. That was lots of colour changes in that snowflake and those flowers, but they're so pretty, and the clock. So after that, did I work on that page? Yes, I worked on that page. So after that, came back to the top, and I was working on page 4. As you can see, page 4 isn't finished, because I was stitching page 4 and I decided I want to do page 1. I really want to get to page 1. At this point, I wasn't reading anymore. I was just working very, very carefully and not counting stitches too far across. So I got about half of page 4 done. Well, the top 40 rows, so 4 blocks at the top. So then I thought, I'm going to do that all the way across to page 1, and then I'll come back. So I got the top 40 rows, or the 4 blocks done on page 3. And as you can see, that very top bit is like the frame of the shelf. And I thought, why am I spending all this time putting all the other colours in when I've got all the colours on my needle to go all the way across? And that's about 10 rows, so one block. So I think after page 3, I just started on page 2, and I thought, I'm just going to go right to page 1, and I followed that top bit all the way to page 1. And then went my way down again. So I had been dreading the door, not because of the door so much, but all those pink flowers, because that would just be lots and lots of colour changes. Pink is not my favourite colour to work with. I like blues and greens. So I got page 1 done. Then I finished page 2. And I feel like these page finishes have come quite quickly, one after the other, towards the back end of this year. So I did all the prep work, and now it's all paying off. So page 2 with the woodpecker on that book. There's that at the bottom there, next to, you can see the fan, but next to it is a jar, and in the picture it looks like it's like little spools of thread, but you can't make out the spools in the sewing, so I'm going to call it my alt jar, because it stops them going all over the floor. So yeah, page 3 done, and page 3 was done fairly recently. Have a quick look at my notes. Yeah, so 4 pages I've done, but actually it's more like 4.5 of all the work that I've done on that one. So, not as many pages as Trick or Treat. Again, Trick or Treat, I had a few pages started, but not so many pages as on Trick or Treat. Not as... Probably if you worked it out, I've done more pages overall on Trick or Treat. I had that big block of sky. It was nice to... That was lots of shades of blue, and that was really nice to work on. But this is just like stitch a couple of stitches, change the colour. So the way I stitch, I'd call it cross country, but only if you do one thread. So I'll find the thread, I'll pick the colour that I'm going to use next, and then I'll stitch that colour as much as I can, so it will either be until the length of thread is run out. It's in that area, it's not big jumps, I don't make big jumps. Everything you can see is kind of, even on this bit, you can see where the colours are coming down the page. I don't make big jumps. I wouldn't have jumped across from that one dark section on the left to the dark section on the right. I don't string it too much across at the back. If you get your tension off, you can pucker. I can pucker it if I put it too tight, so I try not to do big jumps. 10 is the most I'll go, and I don't like doing even that much. So as I was saying, I'll get back in again. So I'll run the colour down, so that black colour will have been run down until the thread ran out. Then I'll finish it off, re-thread the needle ready for next time, but put it away. I have all my needles pre-threaded. Because I have a cat, everything gets put away every night. It's a good habit to get into anyway. So he doesn't mess with my stuff. He knows that's my stuff. He's got his toys. I play with his toys with him, but he doesn't play with my toys with me. It's a happy balance. I'm very, very lucky that I have a cat who loves string, loves ribbon, but will not play with my sewing thread. I can sit on the sofa and knit next to him, and he will not touch the ball of wool. If you give him a ball of string, he'll chase it. I don't know why, he seems to know that it's mine, I'm using it, and it's not for playing with. So he's very, very good and well behaved. So, where was I? Yeah, so I'll follow it down. What I do, if I run out of the colour and I'm still in the 10 row block that I'm working on, I will re-thread the needle and carry on working it. So I stitch the colour for at least the block, the 10 row block, and then down below that block, if I have thread left, if there's that colour to stitch before I finish it off. And that's how I end up with this kind of like dribbly look. Like the stitches are running. So it's a method that works for me. I do get some small little gaps left. They're easier to find. They get picked up a lot quicker. So next year on this one, our first thing would be to get that page 4 finished, but then what I'm going to do is move across to the other side of this, like this central. This is 2 pages wide, that bit. So I'm going to skip across those 2 pages, and I'm going to work towards the end. And I've got 3 pages and a partial page to do there. So hopefully with that start I've already got on this page, my goal will be to get across the first full row of pages. Now, I am already over 25% complete on this. Because I only ever talk about, I'm working page 3 or page 4, it doesn't sound like I've got much done. But yeah, because those 2 columns are done, but one isn't quite done. Because they're mostly done, I've got 1 strip finished. It means it's quite a lot done, and I can see how pretty it's going to look, and yeah, I want to get it finished. Not going to be for a few years again, but I really want to get this pink pink finished. I'm not at the bottom of the shelf yet. You can see there is where the shelf runs, so there will be some pink the year after, but not so much. I would run into the greens below, so I think it's like pink, green, kind of oranges, autumnal colours, and then the blues of the winter. I like the blue shelf, it's my favourite. I'm way away from that one. So, there we go, plans for next year as well. So yeah, as I said, end of the month, this one gets an entire week. So, in roughly ends up getting stitched as much as Trick or Treat or Just Be. So another focus piece really. Just never ever going to be a 2-week focus piece. Unless maybe when I'm down on the winter shelf. And next up we have a little light reading. The light's going a bit weird now because the sun's trying to shine, but it's raining. So, weird weather at the moment. Other people are getting snow, we just get rain. So, where were we? Right, a little light reading. This one is on 25 count, easy count. My husband bought me this as a material pack from Heaven and Earth Designs for Christmas one year. Christmas 2018. Because that's when I started it. It's like a present, you gotta start it. Probably a bit of a theme of starts around Christmas time on my projects. It's a good time to start, you've got several days off, it's nice. Right then, this one, I like dragons. So, I'm stitching the pages. So page by page, but instead of working the pages across, I'm going diagonally because the top row is all that cream stuff above his tail. I think, I've got a feeling this is a large format chart as well. So the pages again, nice, a little bit smaller, I can't remember. I haven't got a note anywhere whether it is or not. It's quite a small piece, it's 350 by 409. So basically it's a dragon reading a book under the blankets, using the mobile phone as a light to be able to read the book. Because why wouldn't you really? So, where were we? Right, started in 25th of December. This one is on my 1 week rotation. Now, rotations kind of got chucked out the window a bit as I got close to finishing Eternal Promise last year. Because that's what finishers do. I get the urge to just work on them to get them done. So I ignore my rotation. We all do it. So I ended up working on this one for 22 days. And it still came out quite a bit. That means I've worked on it 46 days in total. And I've finished 5 pages. I'm on my 6th page at the moment, which is that mobile phone. I'm kind of going across into the next page because there's lots of white, which you're not... All you're going to see is the fact that the grid isn't showing up so bright. That is how you can tell that there's loads of white on this page. Don't we love stitching white on white? It's easier with one strand of thread, honestly. It looks so much neater. So much tidier. It just seems to pick up any stray piece of fluff. And when you live with a black and white cat, it seems to pick up the black fluff more than the white fluff. So I did manage to put in 12,509 stitches this year and completed 2 pages. So that will be that top page and the diagonal that's got dragon tail and part of the dragon reaching across to hold the phone. Goals for next year. For this year, I want to get this page finished. I think I've bought the case. That colour. I think that colour runs down to almost the bottom of the page, if not just past the bottom of the page. But there's more stitching on it because of all that white. I don't want to stop the white on a straight line because it's white. I don't want to feather it because if the thread builds up behind it more, it changes the density and it just looks like there's a line on it. So I don't enjoy working the white this way, but I need to get it done that way. So I don't want anything that will detract from the rest of the picture. You probably wouldn't notice anyway. I just notice it while I'm stitching it, and then I just be worried about it for the whole time that I'm stitching, and I don't want to be. I've got one similar on Computer Catastrophes. If you look very, very closely, if you know where to look, it looks like there's the illusion of a line. So, but that's just on the screen. It's just anywhere where there's big patches of one colour, and that's again why I don't like working on things with big patches of colour in. It's much less forgiving than confetti. So I want to get this page finished, and it will be another boring blanket page, and then in that one is dragon head eye, part of the dragon. So I really want to get to that page. I would love to get to that page this year. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that far because it only gets worked on 1 week every 3 months. It's just smaller amounts of progress, that's all. But it is progress, and at some point this one will be a piece that will go into 2 weeks rotation. I'm also trying to make it a rule that I always need to have a dragon piece on the go. I've got quite a few of them. I have most of the Randall Spanglers. I'd say most of them. I really enjoy stitching them. There's something about the colours, the way the pieces come together, the images. The Train of Dreams, that was the second Heaven Earth design I finished. I finished Face of Fairy first. I think it was the second I finished. And I just had such a blast on that piece. It was gorgeous seeing all those details come together. And it's not the regular size one, it's not a very big piece. But it's just so much fun packed into it. And I think because I had such a good experience with that first piece, I just really love stitching these. It's like Just Be. I really, really enjoyed. The cat just looks amazing. So I will probably do more Jeff Haney pieces as well. There's just some way that the artwork combines with the stitches. It's just so much fun to stitch on. So there's always going to have to be a dragon in the rotation. So there are dragons on Trick or Treat, but they're right at the bottom, and they're tiny, so they don't count. So that's how I'm going to start another dragon piece once I finish this one. I don't think it would actually take too long to finish this one, especially once it gets into the 2-week slot. Be a couple of years, but another dragon. I would so love to start another one now. If I was to start another one. Oh, there's so many pieces I want to start. I just can't. I need to get these done. So, onward with the WIP Parade. Stop getting distracted by what I want to do in the future. So yeah, I think I've gone through the main things of these. Yeah, 2 pages completed this year. I would like to finish 3 next year. If not, I'll be working on that dragon face by the end of the year. So next up is another one of the 1-week pieces, and this is Unicorn. Artwork is by Lorna Lane, and it's a Gecko Rouge kit. This is something different. This one I don't count for Full Coverage Fanatics group. If it was just the oval and the unicorn within that, then yeah, that's full coverage. But the oval has a frame around it, and there's no white fling in the back, and at the bottom there will be a banner that I love stitching. I hate stitching banners. Why did I choose a piece with a banner? I'm not looking forward to getting down there. Got a little way to go though. Now this isn't a very big piece. It should be 300 wide by 360 high, but it's shaped. So total number of stitches 50,447. That's the number that's stitched. Pattern Keeper gives me that record. This piece was so difficult before Pattern Keeper. That frame. See the kind of scallopy bits in there. Oh, so many colour changes. It's fun. I like it. So this one I started on the 19th of April in 2019. So about the time of my birthday. Birthday start. If I don't start Christmas on New Year, it's birthday usually. There's a pattern. I have time off work. I want to start something new because I can spend time with it. So, where was I? I believe last year I had a bit of a finishing run and got the top row of pages finished. I think I did a few pages in a few days because partials. I like partial pages. So this year, I don't think I stitched on this until towards the end of the year. No, this one's only been out twice this year, so I've done 12 days on it, so that would suggest that I've done it over those days included holiday. If it's a holiday I don't do sofa stitching because I've got all day to work on it. It's weird. I've done 5,377 stitches, which is 2 pages again, partial page, so it's kind of like this. I'm assuming it's easier, this bit down here. I love the blues on this. Very odd pink. It's kind of more corally orange. It's nice. So yay, page is done. And then obviously next year, I'm not sure if I'd be able to get across the whole piece. I might be. Getting 2 more blocks of very pale colours, so not so fun. I think I get the unicorn horn on this page. Get the horn coming in. So I'd like to get across the whole thing. The pages are smaller on Gecko Rouge charts. And this one's compatible with Pattern Keeper. So yeah, it's kind of about all I can say. Because I don't use it as full coverage fanatics, it means that I can't use it in anything like the bookshelf challenge or anything like that. But we'll see when I get there. I really enjoy it. Can't wait to get back to this one. It's just nice little candy piece of stitching. This one, again, I think this one will eventually be switch into a 2-week position, because I'm going to finish Just Be this year. I'm trying to work out what's going to follow that into the 2 weeks. I have an idea. It's not this piece. This piece will be after that one, so we'll have got more progress. But we'll see. Once I get into the main guts of stitching this one, I'll see if it's going to be something that I keep on just a single week, or if I think I'll enjoy spending 2 weeks on it. So that's to come. Yeah, I think that's it for this one. It's stitched on 25 count Magic Guide, which is the fabric that came with the kit. I do enjoy using Magic Guide. I know some people don't. I do. It's a thicker feeling fabric. Although I think there's more sizing in it now than there used to be. The holes look bigger than they used to be. All shrinks the same. But yeah, there we go. That's that one. Let's see what we've got next. So the other piece that I worked on in 2020 is a piece that you're not going to see in 2021. This is Snow Girl, artwork by Neem Thomas. It's Retired Heaven and Earth Designs chart. I worked on did I take a note of how often I worked on her this year? I started her back in 2012. I've moved all her notes on, so sorry. I started her in 2012. I think it's possibly just after I started Eternal Promise or just before. Very similar colours in them. But I thought I'd be able to get back into this one once I finished Eternal Promise, but I just haven't. And again, it's lots of stuff that I don't enjoy. Background's just a mush of colours. There's no detail there, really, so that's not so enjoyable to stitch. I have loads of black coming up, which is her hair. Again, it's not something that I enjoy to stitch. So, although there's like one stitch in one colour is very similar to the stitch in another colour, so why should I enjoy changing colours as often as I do compared to just working in blocks of colours when essentially all you're doing is a cross with some thread? There's no rhyme or reason to it. At the moment this one isn't giving me the enjoyment that I want to get from my stitching. So for that reason she's retiring. Now, as I mentioned before, A Stitch in Time was retired at one point, and I think that was away for a good year and a bit before it called to me and I got back to stitching it again. So she's retiring. I'm packing away everything, keeping everything together. She'll be taken off these bars and replaced. But she'll be put away carefully, and if I ever feel the urge to stitch lots of blocks of colour, if for any reason I need that, or if I just want to pick it up and do a bit here and there piecemeal, it's there. I'll be able to do that. It's not binning it. At the moment I'm just not getting the fun from it, so yeah, I did that one page this year and decided nah, she's not for me at the moment, so bye bye Snow Girl. So now we're no longer on bars, so filming in a slightly different position and a little bit more precarious. This will be replacing Snow Girl. I've done a whole page, yay! There we go. Now this is Nightmare from Gecko Rouge. The artwork is by Medusa Dollmaker, who is the artist who did The Gamer, and I loved stitching that. I started this in August, 24th of August 2019. It was during the house renovations and we were stuck in one room because downstairs was being gutted and redecorated, put back together again. And so this was kind of quite easy for the setup that I had at the time, because look at that, busy two colours. I have been talking about blocks of colours and how dull they are. This is an exception. I like this. I think I did all the light purple first, and then I went and filled in the dark purple, and then did that little bit at the bottom. That little bit in the bottom corner is Zero, the ghost dog's ears. So again, on Gecko Rouge pages, you can see that's much smaller than even a large format Heaven and Earth Designs page. This is going to replace Snow Girl 1 week every 3 months. So this one will first come out in March. I would like to get 3 pages done if I could, because I can't remember how many. I think it's 5 pages wide. Got a feeling. If I can see, 25 pages in total, so yeah, 5 by 5. And it's on 25 count Magic Guide, and my arm's beginning to ache from holding this up. So I didn't stitch on it at all in 2020, so this was 2019, single page finished. So this one got a little bit of stitching throughout the year. I stitched on her 30 times throughout the year. She was my, well, New Year, New Start, although I started her on New Year's Eve in 2019. So she was new for last year. I did a little bit because I like to stitch in the year and get the year off to a good start. I did start working her in pages, and then I just decided to continue across, so I haven't actually done a full page, but I have done enough stitches for a full page. I think she's I can't remember how many pages. It's either 2 and a bit or 3 and a bit. But there's some blocks of colour in this. I'm stitching this with 2 strands, and I'm using 18 count easy count fabric. This is the piece that will become my 2-week piece once Just Be is finished. She's not a very big piece. Faces are very, I think she's 200 by 200. I haven't got it noted down where I can see, but they don't take that long to stitch. I could have got more of her done last year if I hadn't been doing other stuff, but I'm doing other stuff, so yeah, she came out a lot, but some of that was during lunch times for work. She's a Friday stitch piece as well, so if she did come out, she was only getting a couple of hundred stitches at a time, rather than when I regularly sit down, I can do between 350 and 400 in an evening. So she doesn't get as much time, but she will be getting more time once Just Bee's finished. So towards the end of the year, she'll probably get a couple of goes on the 2-week rotation. I'm not sure if I'll stitch her before then, possibly. Yeah, as I said, I've got other bits and pieces that I'm working on, so whether she will see the light of day before the back end of the year, I don't know. But if I do, it'll only be for a couple of hundred stitches at a time. So the plan would be that she comes out, gets a 2-week slot, and then once she's finished, which will probably be 2022, then I'll move one of the others into that 2-week slot. So that one of the 2-week slots is for something that is fairly close to finishing, so I can just keep getting them finished off. So I think that is all of the active full coverage pieces for now. Just got another one to show you. Right, this piece hasn't been worked on for a few years, but it's still waiting. This is Alice Logue. It's a retired chap from Tilton Crafts. I don't even know if I've got a record of when I started it. It was so long ago. And I think I did 4 pages. I kind of like gridded out lines where the pages will go. So it is not a huge piece. This is on 28 count Monaco. But the fabric is starting to discolour in places. I think it's been put in an evil plastic bag. And I don't know. Right now I don't know if I'm going to be continuing with this one or whether I'll need to just put it down for a restart at some point. I've got some kind of column shadows on there as well. They'll stretch out when I frame it, but I don't know. By the time there's a free slot on the rotation for it, I'll see what it's like. I might even wash it before I start it, just to see if I can get some of that discoloration out. If I can't, then it will have to be restarted. There's no point putting loads of effort in to suddenly find your fabrics degrading on you. So, lesson learned, be careful how you put things away, how you store them. You can't see so much on the front because I had it folded in on itself. But this is what I don't like, having too many started. You pick it out at some point and find out something terrible's happened to it, and you've lost that work, but it can sometimes be a bit disheartening and difficult to pick things up again. So, like I said, we'll see how it is when I get to the point of picking it up and adding it into the rotation. So, just a couple of pieces of non-full coverage to finish off with. We've gone through everything full coverage that I started. As you can see, I don't have a lot. So this is Mooka. It's a Mirabilia Designs, and I started it on Leap Day in 2020. Now my rotation does everything by weeks. So each month I have 2 or 3 days spare that aren't part of a whole week. The reason I started this in February, because sleep day was the only time February would have a spare day, so that's why I started it then. I've worked on it most of those times. I don't think I've religiously stuck to giving it those 2 or 3 days. It depends whether or not I felt like working on it. I have got quite a bit done though. I'm happy with the progress that I made. It's a fairly wide piece. I did many years ago. I stitched Sleeping Beauty and she hangs in the bedroom, and this has got a similar style frame to it. It's also a fairy and a bed, so it will kind of go with that Sleeping Beauty that I did that many years ago. So many years. It was when it came out. That's how long ago it was, and it was one of the first. There weren't many Mirabilia charts before that one. And I think she did her 25-year anniversary this year, so hey, that was years ago. So I do like them. They're just easy to pick up. I don't like the charts. I really wish they would do away with those. The Nora Corbett ones now are switching to pamphlet type things, and they're just so much easier to work from. The Mirabilia charts are just like this massive sheet of paper. You've got symbols printed down the fold lines, and I don't like it. I mean, I understand that not everyone wants to do PDFs, that's fine, but please just give me things printed on A4 sheets of paper rather than trying to wrestle with some massively oversized A0 piece of paper. Paper shouldn't be like fabric. Like size of fabric you'd pick out, and then suddenly you open your pattern and it's the same size and layout. So, I know with Pattern Keeper you can take pictures now and kind of turn it into a working pattern, again because of the fold lines. The Mirabilias don't work quite as well, you have to cut them up, especially for bigger pieces like this. You have to kind of take lots of pictures that would overlap, so it's too much effort. When I did used to go into the office, I did make a photocopy, working copy. But actually I scanned it on that and then I can print it out on my home printer. So it's just a nice big flatbed for doing getting it imported. But yeah, working copies is the only way I can do Mirabilias. So that's that one, and one last small piece to show you. So this is the small piece that I've been working on. I got Strawberry Sampler finished in December. I usually do some stitching for about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour before I start work. Well, it used to be half an hour, but now that we've been working home for most of last year, my commute has gone down from half an hour to just a few steps, so I can spend more time on my stitching in the morning. So sometimes we get as much as an hour. It's fun. So I work on small pieces then. I'm not bothered with getting out all of my, because I pack everything away at night, everything has to come out when I want to start stitching, so I'm not going to do that for just a short piece of work, especially as it would all have to go away again before I start work, because cat. When I picked this one up, again it's one where I'm not sure if I wasn't sure if I was going to carry on working on it. I had done Rudolph, and I'd done some of the one next to him, but I didn't want to start anything new because I wanted to start new in 2020. So it was, what have I got started I could work on? It was this. I have been stitching the Gingerbread Village series as well. So that's kind of an ongoing WIP. But I'm doing them one at a time. So I hadn't got one of those in progress. So again, that would have been a start. So I got this one out and I've been working on reindeer. So I've actually got a lot done. It's very dull, monotonous stitching. It's on Ada, nice and easy. No partial stitches, no back stitching. Very, very limited colours. So as you can see, I have finished the second reindeer. I've put in lots of border. I've got the 3 reindeer across the top now. Just got to finish that border and bring that round. Come down to here, and then there's just 3 reindeer on the bottom. So I've had a new start on the 1st. I've got a new start tomorrow the 4th, which will be my morning stitch. So I may pick out this one and do during my lunch break. See how much more progress I can make before I want to put it away again. I'm not sure that I'll finish it before I start something else, another small one to stitch at lunchtime. It could just very well be one that I'll do some stitching on, put it away, work something else small, get that done, then come back and do a bit more, and just keep weaving it in throughout the year. But the project is called Rudolph and Friends. It's by the Historical Sampler Company. It's kind of like this gift bag kit thing. The pattern is A3 sheet paper. It's very tiny. It's very tiny. It's not my favourite chart to work on, but because everything's so repetitive once you know what you're doing, it's easier. I think apart from the jackets of the reindeer, I think I'm just stitching the reindeer based on how the others stitched up. The picture on the front of the bag seems to suggest that the reindeer have ears. The pattern does not have ears for the reindeer. So I'm just following the pattern. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it when I've finished it. It is cute. I might frame it and have it as a Christmas decoration. But I would like to get it finished in 2021. But as I said, I've got plans for other small pieces during the year. So that's it for me. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I don't have a lot in the WIP Parade to show you. I had quite a few finishes in 2020. Small pieces mostly, a couple of bigger pieces, and hopefully I'll have some more throughout the year. So thank you for watching. Glad to have you back, everyone who's returning, who's regular to the channel, and nice to meet you for anyone new. I hope you'll stick with me through 2021. I'll be back at the end of January with my monthly update, where you'll see some of the new starts, or a couple of new starts. Maybe, who knows, there might be a third new start, but they'll only be small, so I'm not starting any full coverage this year. I'm going to try not to start any full coverage this year. I want to get through what I've got done. So, with that, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.